Keith Landry takes us out to the ballgame with his cut card art. Egyptologist Peter Lacovara discusses the Albany Institute's Dowes Dunham exhibition. And catch a performance from Erin Harkes.
Funding for AHA has been provided by your contribution and by contributions to the WMHT Venture Fund. Contributors include the Leo Cox Beach Philanthropic Foundation, Chet and Karen Alpelka, Robert and Doris Fisher-Melisardi, and the Robeson Family Foundation.
Hi, I'm Matt Rogowitz, and this is AHA, a house for arts, a place for all things creative. Have you ever wondered what to do with all those old baseball cards you got in the attic? Well, artist Keith Landry has a creative solution for you, and it involves a pair of scissors. Take a look.
I'm Keith Landry. I make art by cutting up baseball cards. And I'm a math teacher at Niskayuna High School. Most people think I'm crazy. And my students will say, who have seen it, you know, I don't have the patience. And that's usually what I get from most people. I have no patience for something like that, which is funny because many of the students that I run into are artists in their own right, and they paint and they draw. Even artists that have seen my work that I've bumped into along the way say, you got to be out of your mind to cut up that many small baseball cards. Many people who played baseball, which I did, their first love is baseball. My first love was actually drawing. I remember drawing before ever playing baseball. And it's something that I've just always loved to do. I never wanted to do it or intended to do it professionally in any way. I always just did it for enjoyment. And it's led to some really fun opportunities. I've gotten to meet some baseball players as they've signed different pieces that I've drawn and brought to ball fields or autograph sessions. My love of baseball really started 4 or 5 years old. My grandfather, who I at this point really have no memories of, he died when I was very, very young. My father told me that he would bring me out back to play catch with him. And then ever after that, my father did. My father was a baseball player before me. He was a good pitcher with a good curveball. And so he would pitch to me, and he'd play catch with me in the backyard and hit me ground balls, pitch to my sister, let her hit balls into the outfield as I'd chase them all down. So I always loved baseball. My love of baseball is almost addictive and problematic. I still play to this day. And I went on to play baseball in high school and American Legion and a little collegiate ball and some semi-pro ball. So now I play in the amateur leagues with a bunch of my buddies, and we play old man baseball. It's not pretty, but it's a lot of fun. Where this all started, 2 years ago I went to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. And I had just finished an art project that I spent years doing, because through the pandemic, I just wasn't in the mood for drawing. So when I got to the hall, I saw this piece on the wall, and it was a jersey that was made of cut baseball cards of Atlanta Braves pitcher Phil Niekro. And I thought to myself, I think I can do that. So I went home, and a couple weeks later, I'd produced a Tom Seaver jersey. And you know, it's rudimentary and it looks okay. But the thing that I found great about it is the most forgiving medium I've ever worked with. When you draw something or paint something, you make a mistake and the painting's kind of ruined or the drawing's kind of ruined. With the baseball cards, you just cut up another piece and stick it on top. So the freedom of just being allowed to just go wherever artistically you feel like you want to go without concern for making mistakes really appealed to me. So, you know, then I made another one, and before you know it, I was making these about one a month. So I'll find an image and then bring it down to the school copiers and blow it up to a size that I think that I want to make it. And from there, I'll cut out that image and make a large template out of baseball cards. And every piece that goes into making one of these pieces of artwork is a cut-up piece or a complete piece of baseball card. And from there, you just kind of size up different sections, whether it's the nameplate, whether it's the number, the face, and you kind of do them in separate pieces. The challenge gets to be finding baseball cards that have the correct coloring, tone, shading, and you really actually don't know until you've cut up hundreds of them and lay out all these little cut pieces to see the gradation of light to dark. Then you work on the face, then you work on the jersey, and before you know it, it starts to fill in. And the great thing about it is, as you get to the end, you almost look at, or I look at it, kind of in shock that I've made this thing out of ridiculousness of little cut baseball cards. And the further away you stand from it, the more realistic it looks. It's a lot of fun. There are numerous cards that I won't cut up. I mean, anything, probably, I mean, if you wanted to price it out, worth $1 or more, let's say. I won't cut up any of my favorite Red Sox players. I have a bit of a problem with my Boston Red Sox fandom. But no, I have some valuable cards. You know, I've got, you know, the occasional Hank Aaron card and things that are older. You know, I just don't touch any vintage things. But the vast majority of what I'm cutting is from the late 80s and early 90s, and none of it's worth a penny. When I make these pieces, there is a three-dimensionality to them. Because every section, whether it's a ball player's jersey, their numbers, a helmet, a glove, a face, in the background, the little people that are in the background getting ready to celebrate, every one of those is its own individual piece. So all of these pieces get stacked on top of each other as they get assembled. So there is some depth. And when you have a reproduction of it or a photo of it, you get the impact of what it looks like, but you really don't get the sense for where there's depth and movement to it. And every time I do one, I'm so pleased with how that comes out. The piece that I really wanted to do was a Jackie Robinson piece. As soon as I started getting good at doing this, I thought, I think I'm ready to tackle that piece. And it's one of the few pieces I've done that I already had the vision before doing it of exactly how I wanted it to look. And I was thrilled when it did exactly that. Jackie Robinson's always been a hero of mine. I read his autobiography when I was just a kid. And there are only so many people, let alone players, in the history of the country that have impacted the world the way Jackie Robinson did. As far as the next piece that I'm going to do for this card cutting era, I'm going to do a Shohei Ohtani. He's the greatest ball player that ever lived. And then I'm going to continue on to try to do one of every single team. So there'll be a Bobby Witt Jr. for the Kansas City Royals, and I'm looking forward to do a Johnny Bench from the Cincinnati Reds. I really don't know where this is going. It's just the latest thing that I started doing. And for all I know, I'll get to the end of that project and call it a day and never make another one. Or I'll just run out of baseball cards.
For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Peter Lacovara is the consulting curator for the Egyptian collection at the Albany Institute of History and Art. Currently showing at the Institute is an exhibition celebrating the remarkable career of Dowes Dunham, a Hudson Valley-born archaeologist who left an indelible mark in the field of Egyptology. Jade Warwick sat down with Peter to learn more.
Hey, Peter, welcome to A House for Arts.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk to you about this exhibition you're curating at the Albany Institute. It's called From Hudson to the Nile. Do you want to give the audience a little bit of background about what this exhibition is all about?
Sure. It's about Dowes Dunham, who was from the Hudson Valley, from an old New York family, and became one of the greatest archaeologists of his generation of the 20th century, working in Egypt and the Sudan. So it covers his life and career.
And what will people see within this exhibition? You know, what would it look like for the average onlooker walking in?
So there are photographs of the excavation and that he worked on, and then artifacts that he discovered and models that he helped create of sites there's a model of one of the pyramids at Giza.
Cool. So why Dowes Dunham? Like, why is this exhibition centered around him, and why do you take so much care to highlight his work?
Well, a bunch of reasons. He's from the area to begin with, but he's never really gotten the attention he deserves at being such an important figure. And I actually was fortunate to know him when I was a young student in Boston. He would still come to work in his 90s in the museum every day to work on publications. So I got to know him and know his stories.
Yeah, and what would you say, like, because he's an archaeologist, correct? So what is his legacy like to you, in your opinion? Like, what legacy did he leave behind?
Well, he excavated so many important finds, which is why he's such an important figure and why we did the exhibition. And he also wrote a lot. He was great at publishing what he discovered, which is what archaeologists are supposed to do, but they don't always. But he really took it to heart and did an incredible amount.
Yeah, he sounds like an amazing guy.
Yeah.
So I know, like, in this exhibition, you said that there was a tomb that it took you 2 years to excavate, and you even you were saying maybe there's only just fragments, pieces to it. You know, it's not like this whole intact thing. 2 years and you're still just getting fragment pieces. But you said it was so important to have this in the exhibition and to highlight. So why was this so important to have in the exhibition, and why was this an important discovery to you?
So it was a major discovery. It's the earliest royal tomb ever found intact in Egypt, and it was by accident. They were photographing the Great Pyramid, just taking pictures of it, and they noticed one of the camera tripod legs sunk into the ground. And when they looked closer, they saw it wasn't stone, it was plaster. And so they took away the plaster, and there was a shaft going 90 feet straight down into the ground. And when they opened it, they found a sealed tomb door. But when they opened it, there was the sarcophagus, but then it had been filled with gilded wooden furniture, gilded and inlaid, but all the wood had decayed, it turned to dust. And so everything had crumbled and fell in little pieces on the floor of the tomb. So in order to understand what was in there, they had to photograph and map each tiny little fragment and take it out piece by piece, which is why it took them 2 years to clean a space the size of this, a little bigger than this rug here.
Wow. And how do you transport that to the Albany Institute? What's the transportation process?
Well, all that stuff actually stayed in Egypt. So,
okay.
So it's some of the artifacts were given to the museum by the Egyptian government as a thank you, but some of them were, then they made reproductions of it. Because he had to, by studying the fragments and studying representations, he was able eventually to reconstruct all the furniture that was in the tomb. And then there was no structure over it, so they didn't know who it belonged to. But luckily there was a carrying chair that the queen would be carried around in, and it had her name and titles inlaid in gold hieroglyphs on it, and they'd all fallen to the floor of the tomb in order. So on the floor they could read out who it was.
That is so cool. That fact that it didn't even move at all. It's a perfect lay.
Perfectly.
So I know you knew Dow. As you said, he worked well into his 90s. Must have been very passionate about his work. So how was he?
He was great. He told great stories. He had a great sense of humor. It's funny, he told one story once. Somebody came in and said, "I'm Amun-Ra." And so without skipping a beat, Mr. Dunham said, "Oh, I'm glad to meet you. I've been having trouble figuring out the inscription on this artifact. Can you tell me what it said?" And so Amun-Ra took a look at it and scratched his head and said, "You know, it's been so long, I've forgotten."
So he seemed like a really funny guy.
Yeah, he was.
And how did you meet him? How did you build this relationship with a legend in your field?
I was lucky. I took a class in Egyptian archaeology as an undergrad that the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston was giving, and then volunteered there after because I was interested. And he, again, would come in every day, so he would have lunch and tell us stories.
So you could tell he had a lot of care and kindness towards it because he wanted others like you to work and grow within the field that he was passionate about, which is a beautiful thing. So you've mentioned that archaeology without publication is destruction, and that publication is really vital to not only Dow's ethos, but also yours as well. Why is that?
Well, because you want the whole reason for doing archaeology and uncovering these things is to have a record of them so that people know what was there and can interpret it. And our interpretations change over time. So that's why you need to have a record that people in the future can see. And it has to be as accurate as possible, which he sort of believed in, which most of us believe in.
Yeah, and where does the destruction part come in?
Well, anytime you take apart a site, every time you dig, you're just removing it from its original context. So you have to be careful to record that. You know, we're like crime scene investigators. Everything is a clue, and we don't always know what that clue is until we kind of study it. So that's why we really need to know the exact context.
Yeah, so that intention is really like purposeful and important.
Yeah.
So I know the exhibition connects Egypt and Nubia together, and I know that was really intentional for you. So like, why was that important to have that in the exhibition?
Because he worked in both those areas, so that's part of it. But also so people can understand that there's more to the ancient world than just Egypt, that there were lots of African civilizations that were as inventive or even more so than the Egyptians, and it's an important heritage for people. It's like the Nubians were, a Nubian queen actually defeated a Roman army, so one of the few people that able to defeat the Romans.
Yeah, that is true. A lot of people do think of like, oh, Egypt only is like this, where it's like nice that this exhibition really like highlights multiple like, you know, diaspora areas within the African nation. So when can people see this exhibition? When is it happening? When can we just walk in and like enjoy this beautiful work that you curated?
So the museum is open, the show is open now till the beginning of May.
Awesome. Are you doing any tours, or do people need to book a tour with you, or we just walk in?
You can just walk in on your own. We have 2 videos, including a movie made by his great-grandson, who's a filmmaker.
Nice.
So there are also school tours that you can book for a school group.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Peter, for visiting our studio today and talking to us about this wonderful exhibition that's happening, and I can't wait to visit.
Yeah, great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Please welcome Erin Harkes.
God, I hope that's true, 'cause you told me, die for me, I can't believe that was ever me to be. Rest with you, lest you'll be dangerously coming after me, and you won't be able to find me. I never dreamed I would ever be when you lost me. Come for me, but didn't die for me. I'm still waiting. Not the first man to come around, say the circus, babe. I don't need a clown. Think that you're clever. Think I'm naive. Neither is true. No matter what you believe. She runs when I am coming, so I know she's not your friend. She wants what she can have, babe. So I know how it's gonna end. Tell her I know. Tell her it's all part of the show. Tell her I'm fine. She wins this time. Tell her I'll go. Tell her I won't put up a fight. 'Cause when she can see what you don't mean to me, oh, but tell her I know. Stop the drama, babe. You've lost its queen. All you're left wearing is crown without a sheet. That's one day. You ain't no prize. Won't you see if somebody else's eye? I know because some time ago I was that woman too. When she has you to herself, she's gonna be born with you. So you tell her I know. Tell her it's all part of the show. Tell her I'm fine. She wins this time. Tell her I'll go. Tell her I won't put up a fight. 'Cause when she can see what you don't mean to me, but tell her I know. She runs when I am coming, so I know she's not your friend. She wants what she can have, babe, so I know how it's gonna end. Tell her I know. Tell her it's all part of the show. Tell her I'm fine. She wins this time. Tell her I'll go. Tell her I won't put up a fight. 'Cause when she can see what you don't mean to me, tell her I know. Tell her I know.
Thanks for joining us. For more arts, visit WMHT.org/aha and be sure to connect with us on social. I'm Matt Rogowitz. Thanks for watching.
Funding for AHA has been provided by your contribution and by contributions to the WMHT Venture Fund. Contributors include the Leo Cox Beach Philanthropic Foundation, Chet and Karen Alpelka, Robert and Doris Fisher-Melisardi, and the Robeson Family Foundation.